Hello and welcome to Rule of Thirds, a conversation about art, design and culture with your hosts
Burns,
Mike
and Jude.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod. Don't be shy to say hi.
A question about the arts and the craft. If you didn't know, then it's good that you asked. You tune into the culture. This the rule of thirds. If you want to, you could tune at work, yeah. And tell me, does that frame fit good? Does it feel right? You want to steal a photo for your website, but you want a logo we can design, right? Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are Rule of Thirds. My name is Jude.
my name's Burns.
And I am Mike.
And we are black people, once again.
Yeah, man, come
Happy
on.
Black History Month. It's the last week, I think. It is the last week.
It's literally
It is.
the last day.
Oh, the last week.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Wait, on 2 days time.
2 days,
Okay, it's Black History every day. Okay.
all the
Woo.
time.
How are you doing?
Good.
That is a man who has run out of...
That's all you got?
Yeah, that's what my adjectives for
Wow.
Fair enough.
my mood.
Michael?
Cool.
Jude.
Great.
Okay.
Fair enough, mate.
And thank you guys for coming to this. But yeah, no, it's been I think we had, maybe last week was...
I feel like we've seen each other a lot
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
past.
To be fair, this month we've actually been
Active.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So beautiful.
Yeah, I know, man.
nice.
Yeah.
We've been about.
I was going to say last week we were in here, were we?
No, we didn't record last week.
But we were
No.
outside a
We were
lot.
outside.
Yeah. What did we do on Tuesday?
What did we do on Tuesday?
Was that the event?
Was that the...
The
no, that
Black-
wasn't
Black
the
History.
Minelia one.
Oh, no, that was the week before. Yeah. So,
Bruh.
yeah, the Cloud X New Wave.
Natalie, Apple.
Yes, the Apple event.
That
as
was
well.
on a Tuesday.
It feels like it.
Wow.
Was it Wednesday?
I thought it was late
One
in
of
the
those
week.
2 days. It was definitely during the week.
Everything's just blurred.
Bro, I can't be
into
like,
one.
it's so much happening.
Yeah.
This is like, because in the beginning of the month, I thought it was going to be a very quiet Black History Month.
Nah.
Oh no.
And then
It's
suddenly,
been
out
the
of
most
nowhere.
active one, bro.
Thing.
Yeah. But I think this is the most I've participated in
Same actually.
Black History
You know what's
Month.
crazy though? I feel like I've participated not actively knowing.
Oh, like in general?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So
Okay.
like, I've not been like, oh, it's Black History Month. Let me go to Black History event.
Event.
Yes.
Yeah.
The events has been around. Oh, that's cool.
It's an event. It just happens to be also in Black History Month.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear
basically.
you.
But also, it's like touching on the Apple event, the 100 years of Black design.
Mm.
That was interesting.
It was. It was.
Let me get my notes as well. 'cause, yeah.
The fact there are notes is so funny.
Nah, generally, because I was like, I think firstly, anyway, I want to say like, thank you to everyone that's like obviously put it together and stuff. Because
Yeah. It was a beautifully like created event.
it's Charlene Premper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it based on a book?
Yeah, Now You See Me or Now You See Us. I'll get it. I actually need to
Yeah,
get a book
probably.
myself, actually.
Yeah, same. Because 100 years of designers, that's a long time. Especially for like black.
Yeah.
Because she did go into detail about the research that she had to do
It's
in
Now
order
You-
to
it's Now You
even
See Me, yeah.
yeah, now you see me. So even like in order for her to acquire some of these, like it was almost like she was doing extra work because it
I
was
can
so
imagine.
hidden.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not as accessible, which is quite interesting. I think she was saying about a book that she wanted to collect from one of the designers.
Yeah, like I think they were quoting her like 15K or
Huh?
something
Yeah.
silly just to like, even to like borrow it is like, yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of, so the people that were speaking was Bianca Saunders, who's a fashion designer.
Yeah.
Jazz Grant, who is a graphic designer, digital designer,
Mhm.
main
Collage artist, I
collage
believe,
artist, yeah. And then Jaden Ali, who is an architect.
Yes.
He has his own
Mm.
studio.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah. And then obviously Charlene Premper, the founder of a vibe called Tech. And a columnist at the Financial Times.
Hmm.
I didn't even know that. So yeah.
Beautiful.
She had a
Yeah.
really good talk on Nicer Tuesdays. That's how I found out about a vibe called Tech.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, did I go with Obi? Can't remember if I did, but like it was last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just remind me I need to send the link to somebody as well.
But yeah, it was an interesting event, like to say the least.
Mm.
I think again, in terms of how it was curated, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Sound was great.
It's Apple, no?
Yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
it was to be expected. Like the display,
That was so crisp.
so crisp, bro. I never seen the display that crisp
So
in my
really?
life.
That was as that water, bro.
It felt
was-
like retina display, bro. I was like, whoa.
Wait, did they do projections of stuff that they're...
It felt like a TV.
yeah, it felt like a TV. Like
Yeah, but it was like ceiling to floor type.
as
you know,
as they were
it's very
talking, they
beautiful
were
display,
like
man.
showing their.
Oh.
So it's like
And you know the transitions in the design, like from it was beautiful, man. I can't
Apple are
lie.
different, bro.
Yeah.
Do you
They
ever-
patented it, man. They
when
patented
it comes to design and creativity,
Mm.
I think that's why I think Apple, obviously it's political, obviously the Android users will always say, but for me personally, the reason why I prefer using Apple is because it is clean
Yeah.
and it's beautifully designed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels
It's very
Intuitive design.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah,
it's like,
man.
of course that will go here. Like, of
Mm.
course.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like it was always supposed to be like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is it's very interesting.
Yes.
But
But back to the event.
back to the event.
Yeah,
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 exactly. So I think, aesthetically, it makes sense. It's
Right.
Apple.
Okay.
You know, I think one of the complaints that I kept hearing a lot of people say was that people were trying to still buy like iPhone 16 whilst the event was going on.
Wait, was it not in a separate place?
No.
Nice.
Oh,
when
it's
you
right in
go
the
forward,
center.
it's literally right.
Yeah.
So it's Apple and
Down.
all this-
Oh, the main.
Yeah,
The main, yeah.
And to be
The space
honest,
looked big though.
pardon.
The space looked big from like
The
video.
space is big.
It was a
The
lot
space
of
is big.
people.
Yeah.
But I'll send you some pictures actually.
Mm.
But like in terms of, yeah, obviously it's Apple, so I get it.
Yeah.
I wish it was maybe like a Apple
private-
after dark or
When the shop is closed and they
okay.
do like a 2-hour session, makes
Yeah.
sense. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, obviously I don't know how it works there, but it's their own facility, so I'm
Mm.
assuming. Anyway, Apple, look, that's our idea for you guys. But I've got a few points that I definitely took from it. By the way, there's some few book suggestions. One was "I'm Not Your Negro," which is by an architect. Another one,
Wait, is it by an architect? What I think that I thought that was
feel
James
like-
Baldwin.
Yeah. No, that does sound like a James Baldwin book.
one second.
But I also see like a poster for like
No,
a
is
protest
James?
or something as
Yes,
well.
is. But I think
Okay,
there's
someone's made-
reference to
Okay.
an architect essentially.
That makes sense.
Yes. And then there's also something to look forward to, or someone to research. Charles Dawson.
Yes.
He wrote the A to Z of Great Negroes.
Okay.
That's the book.
That's the
they're trying
book.
to get.
I was gonna say that's the
Yeah.
book that she was trying to get.
Yeah.
For 15K.
Well,
to
It's
access.
a rare book.
All I remember is that she tried to get it and they wouldn't even give it the time of day
Damn.
because, well, basically they were like, no,
Yeah.
it's mine kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's really
Yeah.
sad because there's a lot of like similar to like Jason Okundaya, that book.
Yeah.
The Black Gay Britain one, like he was saying, like that to access these
It's
things
difficult.
is so hard.
yeah.
Yeah. It was actually published or created in 1932.
Wow.
Time.
It's publicated in 1933.
Mm.
But yeah, the album cover, the book cover is quite interesting as well. It's like this green.
That's
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Actually,
I like
really love-
I like the letters
Yeah.
around it and stuff as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't there like a maybe like a I guess a cheaper version of that's been produced since then?
I'm sure
like
you
a
probably-
repro.
Yeah, I'm
like
sure you probably can find
If it's accessible, because sometimes these people
you won't even get
has,
it.
to, has to be a journal.
Yeah,
or something
of
that
course,
you have to
of
like
course,
pay
of
to
course.
access.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
But there's some few things I think I want us to, I guess, talk through as well. And that we definitely had this conversation before. The first question was, should there be more space for designers to be mediocre? And this was
Because Jaden Ali
yeah.
brought it up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the
No,
way
he didn't bring it up.
no, he did.
Was he brought the question?
No, he didn't bring the question.
She asked him that. Charlene asked.
Okay, because I
Jaden
think
that,
when I came into the building.
Okay, so when you came in, she had asked him
Okay.
that question. Should there be more space for designers to be mediocre? And then that's when you came,
Right. Because when I
that's
came in, I heard him speaking about it.
Yeah, that was
By the way, he
yeah.
spoke-
So what was your thoughts on that?
in terms of the question, or in terms of how they answered it.
The question and the response.
I think in terms of the question, it's a valid one because again, we've had a conversation.
Yeah.
So it is always a valid question to be asked. But I think the way that they responded made me question what kind of lens they're taking it from, because like
Okay.
again, we speak about it from the lens of designers.
Mm.
From my knowledge, the event was about designers.
Mm.
So it made me question even more like, what is a designer? because
I think the design was more. No, it wasn't necessarily like a digital graphic design or.
this is what I'm saying.
It
So
was quite broad.
Yeah,
it
for
was like fashion designer,
right,
like
yeah.
Because this was part of my like not concern, but obviously because it's like 100 years of design. Initially, I was like,
yeah,
what angle are you coming at it with? And then when I saw the lineup, I was like, oh, okay, this seems quite
broad.
And it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense because I think oftentimes with design is like it's actually way bigger than just the
Yeah.
graphic design.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people think of initially.
True.
But I guess it depends on your upbringing or your perspective or your experience.
very true.
If you studied fashion,
You're gonna
if you
think
hear of
that.
design, you think of fashion design.
Yeah,
You won't think
yeah.
of graphic design. If that makes sense. But graphic design is the main.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so.
Because I feel like people who do fashion don't call it design; they call it fashion.
But
And
like
like
people,
people
there's still
who-
designers within that.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. But,
But
it's
even-
like we did. I feel like only graphic designers refer to design as design.
Design.
Yeah, okay. In terms of like the doing, most people would say like I do fashion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but-
This example might help. So people talk about United. We think about Manchester United, not West Ham United, Newcastle United. So it's almost like
yes, yeah, exactly that.
basically.
So it's like when I heard design,
Yeah.
my thing was, oh, they're going to talk about the history of black design
right.
and how it's evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, getting there, you realize, oh, fashion
It's-
design.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I don't know how you would class the other two.
I mean,
so
architect-
visual artists.
architectural
right,
design.
Yeah.
I
Visual
guess
design.
Jazz Grant was supposed to be the graphic designer.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Prospect.
I think
Yeah.
she was more of a visual artist. I
Okay.
would say.
Because and that was my contention. Because later on, I think when it got to the part where they asked about what they would call themselves and what they would refer to themselves as, especially with the whole race thing and how I think they just kept saying, "Oh, like I just see myself as an artist, see myself as
So
an artist."
for
see myself as an
context,
artist."
I think the question was, would you consider yourself? I think
a
it was
black artist
yeah.
or just an artist,
just an artist.
right? And I think even we've had that conversations in
Interesting.
multiple like facets.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting because I think this is one of the points that I wrote down because I kept squeezing my face because I think Jaden Ali was saying the qualification is not my race, but that I'm a good designer. So basically saying like you're a good designer who happens to be black. And I think we've spoken about it multiple times, but also it's like because I used to think like that as well. Sometimes I still do, but it made me think like, how can you separate those two? And even if you did, it wouldn't make a difference because you calling yourself a great designer doesn't negate the fact that everybody still sees you as a black designer.
I think
regardless.
Do you reckon maybe they're coming at it from people who work in the industry and they just want to be seen as a thing, especially when you're the minority and you're so used to be seen as that.
But that's what you are.
But it is what you are innately. I
Yeah.
guess part of me is like, if I think of myself, I don't care
Fair.
about if somebody will see me as a black designer or a black artist, but I can see how people will be like, I just want to be seen as an artist outside of my race because that means you box me in a thing.
That's I think
That's what they kept saying.
Yeah.
Pigeonhole, boxing.
I even Bianca Sanders said it. I think I hear it, especially for her as well, because in the fashion industry, obviously, it's very much like a white predominant like industry. So it's like when it's like I'm a black designer, then it's like, oh, this is the kind of. So in my mind as well, this band's thing, but like in my mind, especially if you're a black African designer,
Right.
where's the kente?
I'm screaming.
but that's not been true for a long time.
no,
bro,
but that's
No, I'm saying that has not been true for a long
but
time.
there's certain
Yeah.
stereotypes.
But
that,
and I guess that's why
Yeah.
people are a bit like, I don't
Yeah, but that's not like I get it, and I get why it feels very easy to be like, of course, where's the kente? But it's like, bro, that hasn't been true for a long time.
Is so funny.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say African
Yeah,
print.
you know what I'm saying? Where's that Akara? I was like,
Like, when I was with my missus, we were in Westfield and we walked past like they do like a Black History Month like stall
right.
or shop every month or every Black History Month.
Yeah.
And I looked at her, I started laughing. I was like, when are we gonna like have like they always got like I remember I bought one back in the day. I remember I went down the park in the park and then they have a little patch there.
Yeah, the little patch over the pocket sometimes. Yeah, I hear it. I have one of those at home. I can't lie.
And I feel like, look, I love Kente, like I love it, like, but please, let's find
It's even
something.
disrespectful, low key. You
Yeah.
can't put
It's royal. It's
Yeah,
royal
yeah.
attire, bro. Man is slapping it on.
But then it's like that's because this I don't think I've ever shared this. There was a time once upon a time I actually wanted to start like a clothing brand.
I can see that. I
In my
can see that.
foundation year of uni, and it was with African print. Literally what you said.
It's a rite of passage, bro. Everybody
like-
going through that
but
stage.
in
Like,
a-
I did that.
But in a
I bought Ghana Park in the Park. I was on to with the
I'm
Kente.
so done.
Come on,
but
dude.
like, yeah, different like panel of like African print here. But I tried to be like different, put it in different areas.
Nah,
I
G.
was trying to play with like long line tees and then
Oh, I remember
the
the back in the day with the Chelsea boots and the skinny jeans, yeah,
And
and,
then you put,
and the
like-
fedora.
like 2 layers. So you got like the cotton tee and then you got like that,
The African at the bottom.
print on the bottom.
Yeah.
All of these things. I'll just be sewing this in my
Vision.
room. But then that's the thing, like maybe when you start off, those are the things you think about. And then over time as you grow as a, let's say, artist or designer, there's like the sensibilities of a garment. So let's say like Nigerian senators, for example, like
Yeah.
the suits.
Mhm.
Maybe you play with that form when you look at formal wear rather than just like a
Mhm.
standard suit. I think there's a really good video about this there's a guy who talks about fashion and he's looking at these collabs of Adidas, and Wells Bonner is a brand that is, I think she is Caribbean.
Is it not Martin Rose?
No, Wells Bonner,
Wells Bonner.
They did a shoe.
They did a
yeah.
thing
Did a
with
shoe,
with
and then
Adidas.
they have like
the whole jersey thing as well.
so
Yeah.
there's 3
With the
brands
cuts, like
from
over
yeah.
shawl kind of looking thing.
Yes,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
So there's-
about.
Yeah, 3 different brands, and then this guy was talking about how
Jamaican and British
Yes.
Jamaican father and British mother.
Yes, so he was saying how like he was just referencing like
The old school Jamaican,
Jamaican like
yeah,
back in
yeah.
the day, what people would wear then, and spoke about the other 2 garms and like their influences from other cultures. And I think that's what it becomes more about as you become a designer. You're a designer who has these things that you touch on
Yeah,
within
references.
your references rather than something so standard. And I guess for them, maybe they were happy. Like, or I think for most of us when we start out, we it's a part of our identity, and we just want to we're happy to, I don't know, be involved in the things. And
Yeah, just like refining your taste in order to match your vision.
yeah. And I guess the more
Yeah.
you go into it, the more you're like, oh, these people still see me as my identity first and not my skill after, even though I'm so established. Because for all of them, I'm assuming like they're pretty much like they've been doing time.
Yeah,
in
because
these
like
fields.
honestly, I'm just thinking. Okay, maybe it's me being naive, but I'm just thinking about fashion
like
designers.
it's not that bad of a label to
No,
have.
no, it's not even that. But like when I think of fashion designers, especially
Mm.
even African fashion designers or black fashion designers, I don't think of Kente. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
haven't-
sure, I'm sure
in
for
fact,
them they're not
I
thinking.
haven't even seen Kente on like any black.
No, it's
actually
in a
been
long
while.
time.
actually been
it's
a very
gone.
long time.
I
That
feel
was like early
I'm
2010s.
bantering. But
Yeah.
I feel like
Because like I'm thinking like
Yeah.
Ibrahim Kamara, for example,
yeah.
or who's like creative director of Off-White now,
Yeah.
Mm.
like Pharrell. I'm thinking of like even Virgil, rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Mm.
I'm thinking of Wells Bonner, Martin Rose, like all these people. Like
No,
these are-
we've come a long
you know what I'm saying?
way.
Like, I'm not thinking that none of them do KT Pro. And even when they do like reference
So
these
funny.
things, like an
Yeah.
example of was Bonner's the
It's
brand.
done well though.
Like it's done, it's
Yeah.
it's done to. But there's a thing. There's a lot of European sensibilities attached to that
That
whole
is
thing,
true.
But
where you're like,
I
oh,
think-
I don't want to be an African thing because it doesn't look European enough.
I think though that's a bit different because I think our context kind of informs that. So we are, for a lot of people, are westernized and their upbringing is very Western. So
Fair.
naturally, is actually they're expressing what their identity. So for
Mhm.
me personally,
Right.
I call myself a British Ghanaian.
Yay.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Hey,
how
good
like
for you.
you're funny. But like, so almost like I have the British upbringing. Before
What is
anything.
it's a question to ask.
It's a
after.
whole, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
even the definition about what is black British kind of thing. But like,
Yeah.
that's for another day. Well,
Mm.
maybe today.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
today.
yeah. But like, yeah, if there's time permitting. But like, I naturally would do things from a British perspective, informed from my Ghanaian heritage. Like, it's a natural thing, if that makes sense. Like, it's yeah. Like, I'm not surprised that it's from a Eurocentric. Even like when I think about Daily Paper.
Mhm.
Daily Paper, I thought that they lean more towards their African roots as opposed to the Western, but it's still Western
Yeah.
tones.
I don't
If
even
you
think
get
it's
what I mean.
African. It's more so, and I don't use this word in a disrespectful way, but more like immigrant culture as opposed to
Okay.
African culture.
Diaspora.
Diaspora.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even not even diaspora because it's not really it's not a unified, like things like MoneyGram and stuff. That's very immigrant culture. It's not
Got you.
necessarily.
Okay.
that-
It serves like
Yeah.
a certain like it serves like first gen rather than I
Do you
get
know what I'm
you
saying?
mean.
So it's not
Okay.
necessarily like people who have settled, like you were saying, you're
Mm.
British Ghanaian. most people who are British Ghanaian don't even know what MoneyGram is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you get what I'm saying? A lot of people
That's
don't even know what tap because
Yeah.
they're so removed from quote unquote their motherland
Mm.
that their experience is something of an amalgamation of like this weird Jamaican, Nigerian, Congo, like everything mixed together.
Because even
Because people like you see Ghanaians saying Wagwan, for example.
yeah,
but it's
that's,
like,
that's also based on,
you know,
and it's so complex because if you're born in London compared to if you're born in Birmingham,
completely different existence.
the experience is so different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes.
So I
sense.
think again, back to the whole like, you know, just to I guess wrap it up,
yeah.
is that was very interesting to me. The whole him saying, and he did preface that he works in a lot of white spaces.
Yeah, I think that's what.
So-
that will do it.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's also a caveat that I guess we need to add, because when people work in black spaces, they're never really referred to as black something. You're just you
they're-
just are who you
Or
are.
they're probably like more proud.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I honestly feel like it's probably like a lot of like phrases, words, almost like not that it wears down on you, but I think when you've probably been like,
Tokenism almost.
yeah, and when you're referenced in a certain way constantly,
Let's get
And
a
you
black
feel
designer
like-
to do it.
yeah, or it's like, oh yeah, we've got this amazing black this, or
Yeah.
oh, black architect,
Mhm.
and it's coming from people who are different to you. Because if it was coming from like each other, that wouldn't be a problem. But I guess,
but
like,
we don't even call ourselves
No.
black something.
No.
Just
Nah.
say, oh, I know a great designer.
exactly.
Unless maybe the role is for black designer.
Yeah,
then we'll be like,
then you'd be like, ah.
I know a few black
I like?
designers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do I?
But I guess it's always that constant reminder of you're not part of this majority.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably why there might be like, I'm
Agreed.
this first and stuff.
Yeah.
I think also it depends on your context. So if you're in the UK, the black designer tag is more relevant, but if you're in the motherland, designer is more relevant.
Yeah.
You say this, but it's funny because in Ghana, if you go there, especially like when I've been, a lot of people who come from, let's say, the UK will call themselves British Ghanaian because
Yeah.
it will work in their favor because the British is kind of
No,
like,
same with
Yeah,
Nigeria. as well.
yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
is, and it's very
sad.
bad way to view it because it's almost like you're thinking that you're higher than.
oh yeah, definitely.
But there is a privilege that comes
There's
with that.
there's
though.
definitely that
Yeah.
London boy kind of
Yeah,
like,
in it, boys.
in it,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
This I don't know if we have enough time, but this
Yeah.
conversation, because I was having it with my friends and we're talking about DJ AG. You guys know DJ
Of course.
AG, right? The DJ who's like recently
You
had
know
like
him,
kind of like
man.
he's blown up. He's all over TikTok.
yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it and how like, well, I guess half of the boys were saying they're very excited and happy that there is kind of like this resurgence of black grime culture and this excitement.
I
of it,
listened
right?
to 2 sets a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like they were excited, and then half of the boys, myself included, were saying that even though we're excited, we're also terrified because what this means is that people are going to quickly make this very commercial.
Yep.
And you're going to have artists come on there and
Yep.
use it as rollouts and da. And then suddenly that will just vanish. That beautiful moment will vanish for one of two reasons. Either one, because it will get too commercial, or two, people get bored and be like, let's move on to the next thing, which always happens. It's always going to be one or the other. Or, and I think one of the solutions that was referred to in the chat was that, he might have to transition into this apartment live / culture FM esque
like a
type more produced
Yeah.
situation, right? But the reason why I bring this up is
He'll
because
probably get signed or something soon as well.
That
Like,
is a really good
there's a lot of
discussion.
stuff.
so
Wow.
and it was very interesting because the precursor to this conversation, this pretty much this whole week is with the boys, is that we were talking about this whole idea of being black British, right? And being quote unquote proud of these moments, but like just today they also sent another video of DJ HE getting arrested, right, by the police because he's a nuisance, right?
Oh my god.
And it's so interesting because
Deja vu.
because
It's deja vu,
the thing is
bro.
that the thing that we are finding so exciting is culture. And one of my friends, shout out to Relic, right? He said the UK, I don't know if I'm baiting him out, but he said the UK is literally anti-culture.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Explain.
So
Yes.
they like, and I was watching a video recently. I can't remember her name, but she's a journalist. I think she's of Asian descent.
Mhm.
And she was saying how if you go to places like France, Italy, they have
I
things like fetes and stuff like that.
Was it on Novara Media?
I don't know.
I know people aren't fans for some reasons, but I think I saw it was like a round-esque
table,
discussion,
But it was a very interesting
And
conversation.
when you say fet,
Like for example, like people meet up outside
like party
and party till like the AM.
almost like how you will see like in America,
Like a
or
block party.
yeah,
Like a block party. Yeah, exactly.
But as
and that happens in like Europe, most places.
free paid.
It can be free.
No,
people
as in,
people
it's
might be selling
literally on
things. It's
roads,
just everybody's
like-
outside.
So, but the thing is, we had a sound system culture in the UK, like that.
exactly.
yeah.
But no
But
anymore.
not anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically that kind
Basically
of
that,
basically
yeah.
that,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, and even like in essence, the DJ AG thing is a reference
Yes.
to that sound
100%.
culture,
Yeah.
it's a sound system, like, you know, sound clash, all these kind of things. But because UK is so anti-culture, when they see things like this, they're like, okay, it's a nuisance. It's ruining our peace.
Who says that? The authorities.
Well, they don't have to,
No.
because you know how it's unspoken rules.
But-
For example, the laws on the country don't allow for things like this. Gathering over a particular number becomes like a riot, or it becomes, do you know what I'm saying?
Or you need to have a certain permit.
Permits, and the
Yeah.
permits are almost impossible to
Yeah,
acquire.
yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? In these kind of public spaces, and even the way the UK even builds homes and infrastructure, architecture.
Gentrification, like
Yeah, it doesn't allow for open space.
the
It's
culture that
meetups.
people come to a place for and like say, oh, this place is so trendy, is the same things that they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, this music is playing at like
Yep.
11 p.m. Somebody, call the police.
Not even 11, 9. That's what the video was saying.
yeah,
the 9
yeah.
p.m. is a cutoff.
That's
Because
like
watershed,
usually,
isn't it?
yeah.
So the moment they hear
I don't
that
know why I thought for FNF.
for FNF, yeah.
No, but for real.
exactly.
Because think about it. There's a certain time for FNF.
It's okay. Take a time.
For FNF, yeah. There's a certain time where it's like, guys,
Yeah. My neighbors, because
Yep.
I live in a predominantly, you know.
and it's like, it's sad because it's like, imagine there wasn't, obviously I get it because some man just mock it. Some man be playing music.
But there should be room for that. If you go
No,
Ghana,
no,
you
no, if
know every
Okay.
single place
Do you
is
remember
noise.
that neighbor?
My neighbor. But look, no. Okay, I'll tell you why that's different, right?
That's crazy.
Why is that different?
Okay, this is why it's
That
different.
is crazy.
Because
That's disruption to the local
and you know why it's different, right? Is because one of two things. It's a private space,
Yeah.
as in like in the four
You're
walls of a
actually-
house,
yeah, yeah.
right? It's not outside in this. Because the thing is, right outside my house, also it's a community center, and they always have parties and they always
Yeah,
making noise, and
yeah.
it doesn't disrupt us.
Yeah.
It's loud. If you go outside, you hear it.
hear
But
it,
if you're
yeah.
inside with double
You
glazing,
can't-
bro,
yeah, you
you're
don't
not gonna
hear
hear
it.
anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's one. And two, that's not for community, bro. The noise that the neighbor is
It's,
making
not, it's for him.
is because he's deaf
Oh.
and he raises the music up.
That puts a lot more into
I did not know
context
that.
in it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not. It's not the same
causing
thing.
chaos.
Yeah, it's not the same
I
thing.
just thought it was doing the mad thing.
Well, yeah, that too. Because the thing is, you can buy headphones, but he decided to buy a sound system. So, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's difference. Because if he said he used to be a DJ, so fair enough.
So
But
just
This also
That
reminds me of
card is
something
the
else.
drum.
Oh, this is actually perfect for you guys have seen the Charlie Mays video
Which one?
where he's talking about community. He's referencing like a tweet. I'll just read it quickly, the tweet quickly, yeah.
The fact that you have this saved is amazing. First of
real.
all,
Yeah, so wait a second, let me just sorry. Yeah, so it says that the first tweet was, and I'll read the quote to you after, it says, it's interesting that people don't directly link their loneliness or lack of community with their unwillingness to shop for or feel any sense of obligation to others. And the person quoted is saying, people often romanticize being in community without realizing that community is formed and sustained through reciprocity.
Yeah. Reciprocity.
reciprocity.
It's okay. It's okay.
Reciprocity. It's so funny because that was the same word that someone was struggling with for my brothers.
Mad.
Yeah,
That word,
Yeah.
reciprocity.
Yeah.
Fulfilling mutual obligations to one another. And that this sometimes is inconvenient and taxing, but you can't receive a support without offering it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't receive support without offering it.
As in,
If you
there
don't-
has to be
yeah.
give and take.
Give and take.
that, there's a lot of people, I think in today's society, who are so focused on taking
Taking.
from people, but
Taking.
not being willing to give.
Can you
what
give
is
me an
it.
example?
So, okay, we're all in relationship, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you check in on us two and how we are doing, and we don't do the same to
For
you.
Like we don't let you show us bare love, and we're just like, yeah, hey, you're a nice person, man, but we give you
With
nothing back.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a bit of a tangent.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Just because this this is kind of like directly linked to what we went to
Okay.
for my brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shout out to Keith and
Yeah,
the whole, you know, I guess for my brother's team.
Yeah.
So it was a lovely time.
It was
and
really
obviously, and it was very interesting because that kind of came up where this whole idea of reciprocity in friendships or in community or in relationships. And I don't think that that's realistic, right? The reason why is because, yes, you could like, some people are more private than others. Some people are willing to share more than others. And some people are better listeners and better receivers than others.
Yeah.
You like, I might find it easier to have a conversation about maybe my problems to an individual. It might not be to you two, or it might be to you two. You might feel more comfortable to go and talk to maybe pastor or your therapist or your other friends about particular things. Same with you. So I don't expect that just because I'm there for you two in a particular capacity that you should be there.
It won't be the same.
It'll be in different ways. Like we will still show the whole idea of like, hopefully we should show you a level of care in a way that, in a certain way that you feel like it's a.
So is it quantitative?
No,
like,
no,
not necessarily.
Is just the mere fact that you're available? Or,
yeah, but that's always been.
What I'm saying, some people
way.
are not. Some people like will just receive, and they won't even think or consider you at all.
It may not be a.
It's almost like community in sense of like, you know, on social media now where a lot of people be like, oh, they're not liking my post, they're not doing this, they're not supporting.
Oh, but you feel like when it comes to them, they don't do it to other people. That's why.
So it's almost like there's some people that because of their heart and how they pour into other people, people naturally, or people just want to, because of what they've done, they just want to also support back in that sense.
I see what you're saying.
Some people that they like, okay, I don't know.
But we know people who don't support anybody, but they get love. And there are people who support everybody and don't get love.
But that's not community.
This podcast is an example.
That's not community. That's some of them are cold.
No, but I'm saying like, okay, we use the podcast for example, right? The amount of hours that we sacrifice, right, to make sure that this platform exist first of all, and not only exist but is of a higher quality. We don't owe it to anybody. We can literally quit. We can literally stop. We don't have to do this. We like, if we're talking about like equal, like, you know, exchange, we're not getting it. But that shouldn't stop us from doing what we feel our duty is. That's why I'm a bit like, I don't know if I agree, because I feel like a lot of people are only in it because they feel like, okay, if I support blah blah, they're going to support me. But that shouldn't be the way. That doesn't grow community.
It's not almost, what's it? It's not like not a given. What's the word I'm trying to use? It's not like we don't owe it to anybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we don't.
In the sense of, I still feel like even though we do what we do in this pod, for example, there is still a community that will still support us if something came. So, for example, there's that if we threw an event, for example, there's people that would still come.
But that's assumption, right? We don't know that.
No,
but people, we do.
We do.
Do we?
We
100%.
do. People. The fact that people have said like, "Oh, are you going to do a live show? Oh, maybe think about doing this." Or are willing to even like support or like assist in certain ways.
Do you not feel like that's, I don't want to say entitled, but also naive in the sense that we're assuming just because I have people ask me, oh, when you releasing music, I've released the music and they haven't done anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a very like entitled, not naive kind of like, oh, of course they're
I'm not saying that all of them will show up.
Yeah.
But I don't expect everybody to show up.
Some people that definitely will show up.
But you're basing the fact that they'll show up on your previous encounters with them where they've been reliable in that.
Not necessarily.
So just because,
how
are you so sure?
I guess part of me is like, certain people have expressed certain things. Certain comments you receive from, or you see the same people when we do something, they are there. They comment, they like, they share, they say, oh, I've watched this. There's something. So from those things, and there have been people that have said, oh, how's the podcast going? Ask them the title of the last episode. And they won't know.
Because I know a lot of people do that.
And that's the thing. Those people I won't expect much from. Some people might slide through for like, if we did a live thing, cool.
Yeah.
If we did something that required a bit more work, I know that number might be smaller, but I have an idea of like, okay, maybe these people will show up. And even
this is all based on the assumption that because they've been commenting and liking the post, they will show up.
They're engaged.
I think it's general conversations and interactions.
And like getting the essence of certain people as well. Because like, It's all of the things. Because there's some people like, yeah, you can
It's
do
very
all of
hopeful.
that.
Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah,
this is
no,
a very,
but-
very optimistic
but I think-
outlook on
I
life.
don't even think it's that optimistic
Nah, it's
because
not,
my
it's not,
number
it's
is not a large number.
Yeah.
But it's still optimistic because, like, even to expect 2 people, it's still very optimistic.
I don't think so.
That's so funny.
Because we've organized things outside of just the podcast, but just in general. Like, I know friends who've organized birthday parties and no one showed up.
That's
Do you
crazy.
get what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't have
No
faith.
deposit taken?
No, because it was like, yo, I'm paying for everything. Come through.
Oh wow,
This is what I'm saying. So, like,
That's,
like, I don't.
I know these things happen.
Yeah,
It's really sad.
So it's like
when it
for,
does.
for you guys, and I'm saying it's a very optimistic. I hope.
Like,
it stays-
do you not think people would come?
But
through?
my thing is,
I hope
I don't
you guys
think I would never think off the cuff. Like, I might say it because in theory, it's like, of course, based on this, that, but these are assumptions. We don't know for a fact. The reason why I'm saying that is because, again, with communities, we can't build community off assumptions. We have to build community off care,
but also relationship at the same time.
Relationship, in what sense?
Assumptions have to come to an extent because every relationship, the longer the duration of the relationship, the more assumptions you naturally
Or like
have.
a general
Yes, I agree.
expectation.
But again,
expectation.
yes, and that way I agree. But I'm saying, in order to start community,
Yeah.
you can't go in there
Fair.
because
Oh, no,
there's
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
to
No,
go
of
off.
course, of course.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah.
two sides are almost like putting feelers out and seeing how things go.
Yeah,
And then
Would you do an exhibition tomorrow?
Yeah.
you could.
Like, no announcement, nothing. Just go into the gallery and say it's open.
I would like to think so, yes.
And would you do that based on assumption that people will come, or because you just want to do an exhibition? Which one precedes the other? Is my point.
The latter.
The latter, 100%.
So you're doing it for people, not for
No.
just.
no.
Oh,
it's
doing
doing
it.
Yeah.
And this is my point. Like, community should always be based on the idea first, and then people who are attracted to the idea will come to that idea.
But-
like the DJ AG thing. Man was just out there DJing on his ones.
Yeah.
No one was going to
true,
his TikTok at the
true,
beginning.
true. Yeah, no.
And then it builds
yeah,
up.
Then it builds up.
But then you can't just say,
I'm sure he's also the reason you're putting it out there is because you have a thought that maybe
Trying to find
some
community.
people- and that's
Yes,
that's
yes,
more the
I
thing.
agree.
Not necessarily getting people for people's sake,
Mhm.
but almost finding your people.
That's
Yeah.
it. Finding your
I think
tribe.
that's why we do most things.
That's the middle ground. I can agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
So that's the middle
ground.
So
No, I can agree on that.
back to your point on the YouTube. The UK doesn't like culture.
Yes. So yeah, the whole anti-culture thing is
Yeah.
because, again, if we're gonna go a bit deeper and say about like colonization and how they've kind of like wreaked havoc on
Yeah.
like 2/3 of the world,
Yeah.
their whole agenda is to go and destroy other people's cultures, right? So
Mm. Yeah, I hear it.
in a weird, twisted way, what they've had to reap is a lack of culture because they don't know.
It's almost like you spent so much time destroying that.
Like their
really
culture
and
is
truly
destruction.
who are
Yeah,
they?
their culture is destruction.
It reminds me of I won't say the party because they don't deserve to even be mentioned. That racist party.
Oh, yeah.
That far right party.
Yeah.
But like how they say, oh, we want them to know British values.
What are they?
But what is even British main food?
And this is what I was going to ask about you, for example, where you say you're British Ghanaian. What does the British part mean?
The British part.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been thinking about this. Sorry.
Think
about it.
Wait, so first of all, do you identify as any type of British?
The reason why I identify
Oh, so you do? Okay.
as Black British
That's my passport though.
is because of my relationship to this country as well as the country that I am originally ethnically from, right? Because if I go back to Nigeria, I love Nigeria, but if I say, do I know Nigeria? No. If I go back, people treat me, and this isn't even out of malice, it's just the reality. If I go back to Nigeria tomorrow, they will not see me as Nigerian. My DNA, very much Nigerian, but because of my upbringing, my own relationship with my culture, as well as like informed British values, like you spoke about, like we have those references, those westernized things.
Okay.
I'm not going to be deemed as Nigerian, but also my relationship with my country. It's not that I feel less than, but I know there's like a difference from somebody who was born and raised in Nigeria,
There's always going to be a difference, though.
which is fine, but it's not.
Even the people in the country.
No,
are, like,
again,
different between themselves.
which is fine. We're not homogenous, and
Yeah.
I think that's a part of the conversation with Black British thing that really
Yeah.
got to me, because it's almost like people were too focused on the whole. Not everybody is from London. Not everybody is from this city, because which I agree with. When people talk about Black British culture, most people will probably think of London.
London, yeah.
But I think it's a thing of we have a variety of identities and shared experiences. And a lot of it, if we're being real, is about our lived experiences here in the UK, where we are the minority and we are of the diaspora, because that informs like the way like we live and our interactions in our day to day. So there is a shared experience that we all have as Black people here in the UK.
Could you give us some examples of those shared experiences, please?
Whether it's
I can't lie. And also, just for a caveat, we have to speak about London because we're from London. Obviously, you went to school in
in like Skeg, but
Yeah.
like there weren't many Black people in Skegness. But
Yeah.
even me and, for example, Sabrina's from Leicester.
Yeah.
We still related over certain things, even though she grew up
Examples.
in Leicester.
Yeah.
Whether it's our cultural upbringing or certain values around, wanting to make sure that not all of us are like this, but this happens often in immigrant like households. If you're, let's say, first or second gen, there is that thing of you want to do well, you want to do great in school, you want to provide the best
That's a
opportunities
very
for yourself.
Black thing.
Yes,
But it's not a very British thing.
no, but because of the fact that we are a minority in Britain, that is why it can be quite a big thing for this whole idea of like excellence. In my personal,
It happens in Africa. You know Nigerians.
No,
especially
true.
like the Yoruba culture.
True.
I don't know about Igbo culture.
Yeah,
too
no,
much, but
But that's the thing.
in Ghana, the same thing.
But-
If I used to get beats
but it's
just
even-
for being like
but
fourth in class.
But it's even more enforced when we're here in the West, because there's the whole idea of being twice as good. That doesn't just come out of the fact that we are only African. Of course, there's that thing there, but it's almost like because white people and this culture will look at you in a certain way, where they will look at your race before they look at anything else, you almost have to prove yourself.
So you're saying that this is the British culture?
No,
that
I'm saying that those certain things, our experiences here as a minority,
is what makes
inform-
us British.
No. I'm probably more focused on the whole diaspora side of things.
Fair.
Because that differentiates us from being solely, let's say, the place we're from. So it's being British Nigerian and being Nigerian out there are two different things because of our lived experiences.
100%.
And that informs everything, whether we want to admit it or not.
I agree,
Is a key
but it's such a
differentiator.
reductive argument because you saying, being British Nigerian is different from being Nigerian. Yeah, of course. Being Nigerian, no one is the same.
Yeah,
Even in Nigeria, there's differences.
so why should we call each other Nigerian or Ghanaian?
Yeah.
then?
No, I'm not saying we should call each other anything. I'm not advocating for that.
Yeah.
But I'm just because today I was watching a TikTok, right? Someone said being Black British to me means watching your friend come to school and telling them, have you watched Harry Potter? And them saying, oh, my mom said I shouldn't watch it because it's witchcraft. That is stupid.
It's not
No,
stupid.
it's not stupid.
No, because do you know why?
It's not stupid.
I was in Ghana when Harry Potter first came out, and it was the same thing.
No,
so
but
for you to hold on. For someone to say that's Black British,
No, it's not black.
It's confusing.
There's context here.
context, yeah,
the
yeah,
reason why they are saying that is because it's their white friend that asked them that. Their white friend
Yeah.
who's not going to have the same lived
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
or the same reference of this being devilish.
So
or this
why
being
does that have to be
demonic.
Black British? Is it just because of the white people? Because are you saying that if you're in Norway, it would be the same argument here?
More-
Or
it's-
if you're
it's
in
not-
America, it'd be the same thing?
It would be similar.
It may be new-
America.
it may be nuanced.
America
It
is
may be- it's nuanced. Yeah.
America will be completely different
Yeah.
because it depends what parts you're in.
So like France might be
Also,
the same.
Are you Black American or are you African American?
Okay.
or are
Very
you
different experience.
Okay, let's put America to the side in Europe.
Europe?
So you feel like in France it'd be the same?
Most likely because
it will
of-
be a different version. And what I was saying is that example is more of like, so when it comes to Black British culture, it's about lived experience, about the music, films,
or even our relationship with like food as well.
Yeah, food, like culture in itself. So what makes somebody Ghanaian? What makes someone Ghanaian?
I mean, there is the DNA to show where the ethno.
Aside from the
But
DNA.
it's aside from that.
What do you mean? That's what I need. What else would I need?
No, but
Because some
you're
someone, for
saying
example,
everyone's so like
there's white Ghanaians, for example.
Yeah,
They
but
don't
we
have the-
okay. First of all,
Yeah.
we all know that a white Ghanaian is still not quote unquote a Ghanaian. Like
Can't
we
say
know.
that. Some people will
No,
say
no,
it's true.
Bro,
is there not white yardie?
Science will show you.
But white
that-
yard is white yardie, not
and
a white yardie.
I'm saying science and even like the movement of people, the exodus of people in different places will tell you that these people are not from this particular place. That is undisputable.
No,
facts
but these
here.
people will tell you that they are.
That's fine.
The
That's,
same way that
look,
you have
this
Indian,
is
Ugandans,
what I'm saying.
and stuff
Look,
like that.
me
too.
personally, I'm not here to define anybody's identity. That's up to them. If you want to call white South Africans, that's cool. That's up to you. If you want to call yourself Black British, that's okay as well. Me personally, I can't call
So what
myself.
you call yourself?
But the thing is,
First of all, my passport's not even British.
No, but
so
yeah,
I can't
yeah,
call
yeah.
myself
But this
that.
is the thing also. So how do you identify?
Yeah. That's a
How
good
do I identify?
Yes.
Ghanaian.
Okay.
And
But then-
why do you call yourself Ghanaian?
My
Only-
family's Ghanaian. My heritage has been Ghanaian from as long as I can go back.
I'm a Ghanaian then.
Yeah, if you want to call yourself Ghanaian.
in your eyes.
You said I should refer to you as a British
No.
Ghanaian. So I refer to you.
No, but what would you? refer
What
to
would you
Banzas?
throw me as?
First of all, I respect people's pronouns. Yes,
So annoying.
So if you want to call yourself, if,
I want you to call me
We'll put
whatever.
that to the side
Yeah.
for now.
What would you?
call
Yeah.
Banz?
if I met you,
Yeah.
I'd call you a black person first, and then if I got to know you,
What's your problem?
what do you mean? Hey,
You're actually so annoying.
no, you're asking
Because-
questions. I'm trying to
okay.
give you answers.
if you knew where Burns was from,
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's
If-
what we're
if-
trying to get to. But fair.
If Burns came to me and told me I'm Ghanaian,
I would
like okay, if I asked you, where you from? Exactly. My point proven.
Don't kill me.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
I would most likely ask that question.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
And then a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm from London, but my family's from da da da," and then that's
yeah,
cool. Then
it
in that
depends.
moment, you clarified
But
to me
It
that
depends on who you ask. Though. Some man won't even say Ghana.
But there's
True.
But the thing
Yeah,
is,
that's
there's
true.
context though as well, because like
There's context.
none
So-
of this. We're
yeah.
not saying this like in a bubble.
Mhm.
The reason why that response is the response is because we are a minority, and you will tell someone where you're from, and they will tell you, "Oh, where are you really from?" And when you grow up hearing stuff like
Fair.
that, I think that does do like not that it does a number, but you just learn to be like, "Cool, I can acknowledge that I have to share my nationality as well as my ethnic background."
Yeah,
True.
because a lot of man, a Black British experience is probably wearing that red England jersey when you were kids,
And that's that. And
And-
is that the thing that we're, because I think again going back to the whole. I was trying to avoid it, but the whole Clint, Gabriel, and Sloan,
Oh, the cover, the ID
right?
cover.
And this idea of being Black British and being proud of it, right?
By the way, we got a few minutes. to
This is
wrap up.
literally this is my last point, I promise.
Yeah.
Is that I think it's a very confusing thing, because to identify with your oppressors or the oppressors of your people, for me is a contradiction.
It's
And I get why people want to, because I think you want to make that distinction of, okay, this is my experience, but it just happens to be in this context, and I get that, I understand. But my thing is that there's a pride attached to it. So my thing is that the pride based off the survival and
of us being Black British.
is it a survival thing of saying I'm proud that even in the midst of all this racism and suffering and them calling me the N-word and throwing tomatoes at me and I'm not allowed to this room, I'm not allowed to that room, and the football people, they laughed at me and they called me this and my hair was nappy and all of this suffering, is that what people are proud
I
of?
think I'm going
Nah,
to say no.
nah.
So what are you proud
But
of?
it is a part of it though.
But what, okay, tell me the things that Black British people are proud of.
Many
And then we can end this
Many
episode.
people are proud. No. Many people are proud of their culture. Many people are proud,
The culture, what's the culture thing?
whether it's to do with cultural values, cultural upbringings, certain things, something as small as, I don't know, learning certain practices within whether it's with food or with other things. I can't tell you because I don't want to speak for everybody.
Speak
but
to-
for myself,
Yeah, speak of yourself.
I think there are beautiful things about Nigerian culture that I can appreciate, but then some of it is also like acknowledging, okay, we are from this very big place, even though it's complicated. Because for me, I'll be like, Nigeria, when I think about it, I'm like, I don't even know how this country is still running, because it's hard to be proud of a place that there's just a lot of like madness is kind of happening. But I'm more proud of the people, and the people that almost like the people rather than the country, if that makes sense.
Fair. The people make the country.
But that's
so
my own relationship with like Nigeria. Like when it comes to happy Nigerian independence,
Mhm.
I don't know what to say, because I don't want to be like those annoying people in the diaspora that now starts repping their flag. But Nigerians in the country will be side-eyeing you like, so what are you really proud about? Because
So what are you really
when-
proud about in Britain?
it's not about Britain.
not
It's
about
about Black people in this country. And part of that is our resilience. That's a part of our, sorry, because I know that's going to do feedback. Sorry. Because I know there's feedback and stuff. It's going to be on the audio. But part of it, part of that story is unfortunately about that struggle or that resilience or having to make it through. Because it's a big thing to do.
You still haven't said one. I just want one positive, bro.
No, but that is the thing. Is the way you see it. You may see it as a negative.
Like that's
that
like the resilience part aside.
That's one side of it. But cool.
Burns, you say one.
Really, I'm just trying to show love.
I will say, okay, whether it's to do with music and sonics, like I think there's so much beauty in what we've been able to do over the years. Even like an amalgamation of how we make our own new genres of things. So if there's like Afro swing and various things like that. Even like art and design, to be fair, I think there are certain things that even for me, I'm learning about because there's a lot I still don't know. But looking at, I think there's always this tweet I see about architecture, but just like the beauty in African architecture, for example, and like those references and not linking it to the West. That's not to do with British culture. Maybe that's more to do with African and Nigerian or like other parts of African like art and design and stuff. It's hard. I couldn't really tell you 100% right now. Be so real.
I can say some stuff though. I would say like even I think just how we've been able to break barriers that we were before. So like growing up, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't see. So like even having a UK Black Business Show, for example, that wasn't a thing. Like growing up, if that makes sense. Like
fair.
One thing from the 100 years of like Black design said that Bianca said with that there's like she didn't see a lot of people that looked at her, so her idea of success was very blurred. So like she was looking up to like white fashion designers for her reference, but now people can look up to Black fashion designers, Black business owners, Black teachers. These are the things that inspire people to like. For us, like, because things were so hard for us, the fact that we're achieving, the fact that people are graduating, the fact that people are the first in their family to go to university, the fact that people are like breaking barriers in whatever they are, to me, I'm proud of that, if that makes sense. That's, yeah.
And it's sad because like in my head, I'm thinking, you're probably still thinking like, but it sounds like a lot of...
I mean, for me, it doesn't sound very British. It sounds more like immigrants coming to the country and working.
But we've made it our own, and
if you're Black British, you're immigrant. So it is.
We're not from here.
You see what I'm saying?
No, we're not from here, but we have been able to make so much out of little. If you think about like how a lot of us have started, how our families have started, and the things we've been able to like make as a result, amongst like the various things that we all face, that in itself is a testament to our legacy and our culture. And I think that is something that does need to be like celebrated. Yes, it may seem that it's still under like maybe a white gaze, or it's in
it always,
but I guess it always will be because of the fact that
once you mention, and the thing is, the reason why I go back to British Ghanaian thing is that the reality of it is that, like you said at the start, usually the typical thing is that we feel too westernized to be fully African, and we feel too African to be fully Western.
This is like the mixed race.
No, which is funny because I think about the way
actually when you're if it's a combination, you're naturally gonna be on two different like. It's difficult, bro.
No, like, you're both, and that's fine. But the thing is, I'm saying, like in your argument, you're saying you're British and you're Ghanaian
because that is a space that makes the most sense,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's not like we're saying we're like taught. I don't know. Not like it's like you're torn.
It's because you say.
But this is what it sounds like. It sounds like
there's a difference.
If you were more Ghanaian, would you still identify as British? Is my question. If you felt like when you got home they accepted you, they were like, no, we can teach your language.
Because
so you feel like you wouldn't.
My thing for me is that I need to, and I guess it's different for different people, but I need to live, I need to know, and I need to understand the culture and the environment of the place that I'm living in. It's like, for example, I lived in East London all my life. I'm not a South Londoner, so I'm always going to refer to myself as an East Londoner. Like, it's like where I'm based and where the majority of my life is what I'm going to resonate with. I can never understand South London. Sometimes people talk about South London like, Bagel King and Morley's. I didn't know what that was growing up. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I can only talk about what I've experienced and what I've referenced, innit? So that's it's legit. Like, yeah. That's the way I see it anyway. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to today's episode of Rule of Thirds. Feel free to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag Rule of Thirds Pod. And for more from us, follow us on Instagram at Rule of Thirds Pod, or our personal accounts for myself, Burns JNR,
Mike at _man like Mike,
and Jude at Kente Kwame.
Catch you guys in the next one.